We've talked on the YouTube channel about Dying Light and the future of this franchise moving forward in the, of course, the form of Dying Light 2. And what I gotta say, guys, is there's a lot of hype and excitement building around this game, and a lot of people are wanting to hear more information about it. And all we know is that it's definitely coming at this point in time. But what I wanted to go ahead and do, guys, is I wanted to talk about the top 5 things that we want in Dying Light 2. And of course, when I say we, I'm going to be talking about myself here. I would love to hear your thoughts, whether you agree or disagree with what I'm about to say, in the comment section down below. So let's get into it. So guys, Dying Light, when this game first, originally came out, it is a franchise that's very unique, and that's something I really like about Dying Light, is that it kind of had this, horror, of course, a horror title that had some very interesting elements and gameplay mechanics to it, and that's something that really I made me very excited, especially for the future of this franchise. And so, for me, guys, when we get to Dying Light 2, I believe number one for me, as far as the things that we want, I think it's really important that there's more variety on the enemies, more variety of different locations that we're exploring, the different characters that are coming into the fray that we can learn about. It's going to be important that there are those new characters. There's, of course, going to be existing ones, but we want characters that are new that we can learn about. So we continue to learn more about the story, the world that becomes this living, breathing place for a period of time as we're playing it. And so I really want there to be like more variety on the locations and such, and it looks like there's certainly going to be that, guys. From what we can tell, at least as of right now, it seems like there's going to be some variety. Looks like there's going to be ways that we can traverse the world in ways that we were never able to do in Dying Light 1, but I think that continuing to evolve the series forward with new characters, new enemies, new locations is going to be very important for this game and the franchise moving forward. And for me, guys, at number 2, still on the campaign here, I think what's really important is that there's more things that we can do along the journey. So while we're, traveling throughout the story, no matter which way the story takes us, I think it's important, guys, with this, this open world format, to have more things that we can do. From Dying Light 1, of course, there were things to do, but I'm saying even more things that we can do, more people you can come in contact with. I'm not saying that, kind of not having like fast travel and things of that nature, but what I'm getting at is ways in which you can just travel and traverse the world, but also you're able to do a number of side missions, more side missions than ever, more collectibles, more things that you can, collect and such, and find out about to learn more about this world and the place that we're in here. I think it'll be really important. That helps really with world building. It helps with building the franchise, further, and continues to build upon the legacy and the lore that they're trying to start with the first one and now into the second one. And that leads me, guys, into number 3, which leads me to multiplayer, which I gotta say, guys, the multiplayer mode, in the first game is something that I've, really thought was cool. Kind of reminds me of Dead by Daylight and, even like Doom Eternal's battle mode and such, kind of similar in style. What I'd like, though, is more game modes around multiplayer, not just, I would like to see just a flurry of other game modes that come out, and they can be unique or they can be traditional game modes that are PvP or even PvE, where you play with your friends and you go up against waves of enemies, or you have like co-op missions and such. Whatever it is, guys, I think having some more modes added is going to be really important for Dying Light 2, so that after you're done beating the campaign, you can play with your friends, you can play by yourself against other people out there across the world, and it brings people back to the franchise, and it continues building the franchise as we know it. And so that's what I'm really hoping for here with Dying Light 2. That leads me to number 4, guys, and that is more customization. I want to see more customization here with Dying Light 2, that being like ways that we're, able to customize our character, to customizing weaponry and things of that nature. Being able to customize even more is going to bring you back to the game. So you try to earn those things. And I think that leads me to like the earnable items as well, you know, over the payable items. Having things that you can earn within the game that you can show off to other people, your friends, or to other people across the world and such. I think having earnable items is really important. And I'm hoping that, you know, moving into, you know, Dying Light 2, we get a lot of earnable items, and we have those over that of the payable items, which I'm sure we're going to have some type of monetization in Dying Light 2. I just want there to be more earnable stuff than payable stuff. And that leads me, guys, to number 5. And we know Dying Light as a franchise at this point in time, it is a, you know, a horror open world action game, essentially, right? But I think that what makes Dying Light a really great franchise to me is the horror elements to it. And so what I want to see is horror over action. Sure, we're going to get action, guys. But what happens with a lot of these titles in the horror space, they go away from what made them great. And I think that, you know, you look at games like Fear, you look at games like Dead Space, that were a horror game with action elements to them, and they changed. And by the third game, they had changed to being a, you know, a game that was turned into action with horror elements to it. And so what I want is I want them to stay true to what has made Dying Light great, and that's horror, but of course with action, of course, attached to it, or as with action elements. And so I think that's going to be important, guys, moving into Dying Light 2, that they still keep it grounded in the horror, the scares, the terror, all of that is very important, I believe, for this franchise moving forward. But of course, having action, because you're going to have it with a game like Dying Light. But that's something I think is really important, guys, moving into Dying Light 2. Have the horror over the action, but that doesn't mean getting rid of the action, guys. It just means keep it what has made it so great in the past. And with that, guys, those are the top 5 things that I want to see in Dying Light 2. Let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys want to see in Dying Light 2? Let me know. And for more Dying Light 2 content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.